Trying something new. I don't know if chat's actually going to work or not. I have a chat overlay I'm trying for the first time today. So hopefully it works. We might see it in a little bit. Based off of suggestions I got from Twitter, we're starting off with 4-color Obeka because I think I've got a few ideas that that will go well with this. So if you guys didn't see it, my first example of this was 4-color Marchesa, which I really love Marchesa. It's just the issue with her is that most decks end up being the exact same. So I thought, well, why don't we look at if we add green to Marchesa, what happens, and what's the best like commander route? And so we have Rayhan. Rayhan in the command zone essentially gives you all of your creatures just get modular. And so you get to keep moving counters back and forth quite a bit. And there's different ways. So I'm also very conscious with power level considerations, so I don't do certain cards just because it's too easy. Perfect. Chat did work now. Awesome. Yeah, there we go. Nice and easy, and I can actually hear it. Nice. So I can pay attention a little bit better to chat, which was the whole goal. So I'm very conscious about power level considerations, and when I was wanting to do this Rayhan or this 4-color Marchesa, I wanted to actually make it so I wasn't being able to do everything as often as possible with a ton of extra value. So I don't have like the Phyrexian Altar, Ashnod's Altar, Altar of Dementia in here, just because that's too easy to get way out of control. So the sack outlets I had were like Disciple of Gristlebrand. I have to pay mana. Kel's Fight Fixer, have to pay mana. I can get more out of it because I draw card or because I can draw cards, but it, again costs mana. I think the only free sack outlet that I included in this, no, there's two. There's Yeheni, and there is Dimir Houseguard. Those are the only two free sack outlets that I included, specifically just to make it so it wasn't free. And it made it a lot more interesting that way. So we'll save that for now. And we'll come back over here for 4-color Obeka. So this was actually the very first suggestion that I got as far as Obeka, or as far as the 4-color commander with a secret 3-color commander in the middle of it. And if we're adding green or adding white, off the top of my head, I think white is a lot better for Obeka because of things like Astral Slide and Flicker Wisp. So Flicker Wisp can actually search. So enters the battlefield, exile target permanent, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Respond to the trigger, end the turn. We just get to exile things. So downside is this might be a little controlly, but we'll see where we can go here. To start though, we need to figure out if we want to do yes, that is very much an option. Skybind is very much an option. And I'm not too sure if that's just too easy. I kind of wanted to go around that with one thought I had. So let's just take a look at ID equal is less than or equal to, actually, ID minus ID greater than or equal to G, T legendary, T creature, O partner, minus O partner with. So I'm removing everything that's green, looking for legendary creatures that have partner but don't have partner with. We're going to get a bunch of single colors in here. I had the idea of Brea was a really strong one. Akiri, this could be Akiri Silas. And that might actually work well. That Silas or Bruce Tarl. That would let us do uh, artifact synergies fairly well. Akiri's not the best, um, but if we're doing stuff with artifacts, he can get kind of big and actually function on his own, and you don't have to worry about that. So for now, let's put that in here, and then I think the only black blue is Silas. Yeah, Silas. So we'll stick with this for now. We'll leave Obeka over here just because she's going to be there. She'll be in the actual deck. Um, Now I'm just going to go through the process of minus ID greater than or equal to G. All right. Oh, exile. Oh, return. Yes, yes, very much so. Brago and Yorion for sure. And oh, step. Let's add in target. Exile another target creature, return it to the owner, exile it. Okay, not necessarily, tap's not great, but we can throw in the slides, just to be sure. Athria Shroud Veiled, you get things at end step. Nope, we don't want that. If you control snow permanent, exile target permanent other than... We can start there. So we want to avoid doing things we own. Okay. I need to see Dawn of the Dead. Sounds beginning of the next step. Okay. Well, if we're trying to do that, this is a consideration. This is kind of just my way of throwing things in here to see what all options we have. Target creatures of X, return the exile cards to the battlefield, tapped and there's control. Sure. Yeah. That's just perfect there. Our stuff we don't necessarily want. We've already got Flicker Wisp in there, but for some reason it's not counting it. So yeah, question about Wishclaw. So donating it is part of the resolution. So if you activate it, flicker it, and then do the search, the donate will donate an item that no longer exists on the battlefield. So yeah, you can totally do that. That interaction definitely does work. Ghost Council, not so much so. Gale Powder's fine. Another permanent. There we go. Gorios, we don't mind at all. It just gets us one thing. Mix on another non-token creature. If you do, it's a copy of it. Yeah. Yeah. Exile it, then returned. Not so much, so don't necessarily care about that. What's the backside? No, not need that. Sure. Oh, yeah, Miss Meadow Witch is definitely recurable. Humble Defector's a good shot. So we do get to do the regular Obeka stuff, which we do get to go in here and just make sure that we have all of the good Obeka cards. That's never a bad thing to do. I'll pull that back up in just a moment. Turn you control. Don't want that. World. Postmortem lunge is not bad. Psychic theft. Actually, okay. Psychic theft. Nope, it is not a triggered ability. It's all in the same ability. So what I was looking for Psychic Theft is if it was a separate trigger like it is on Valakut Exploration. So on Valakut Exploration, you can landfall, 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 and then there's a trigger at the end step. And sorry, you landfall and you exile top card of your library, and you can cast them as long as they stay in exile. if you respond to the beginning of the end step trigger and remove that, you will then have a longer period of time to cast those spells. I was trying to see if Psychic Theft did the same thing, but it's not 2 triggers, it's 1. Yeah, we'll throw Skybind in here just because. Sudden disappearance is just kind of like exile target player's board, which is stupid. Yep, we'll get those. There might be some challenges with those, but there might not. Want to keep that. Want to keep that. Don't care about that. Exile target creature if it attacked or blocked this turn. No, because now Voyager Staff right here is the thing that thought me going one way, is because it is a artifact, cost 1, lets you flicker things, they come back at end step, and there's other ways to mess with that, which is playing with one of my other favorite value engines that exist. Graveyard Punch is one of them. Battlefield, exile at the beginning of the next end step. That's not terrible. And I need to check something on Whip of Erebos. Exile at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted to see. The replacement effect will still exile a creature when it eventually leaves the battlefield. Alright. Easy enough. However, if you flicker it, however, the creature's already being exiled, then the replacement effect won't apply spell. Then exiles later returns to the battlefield. That creature card will return. Okay, so actually Whip might be good because we're going to be doing flickers anyways, which is nice. We get to keep it and then we get to recur it later. Hey, Clusp. And let's see. Now, Parallax, Wave, and Tide. Remove a fade counter, remove target land from the game. At least play each player returns, so you can just respond to that. Sure, we'll put these in here for now. Let me also look at the other option I was thinking for commanders was Brea, but I think I like Silas better for a few other reasons. So here we are flickering things. Let's just go take a look at EDH Rec and make sure we're getting all of the appropriate Obeka tech, because I don't remember them all off the top of my head, but yeah, Felden's pretty solid. Definitely like Felden. So I'm adding a bunch of these just because I want to get them in there and see how well we actually work without, or what we can do. Flame Shadow, not so much. Sneak Attack for sure. Ooh, I hadn't seen the around me. They gain haste, sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. That requires a lot of creatures in graveyards. I don't necessarily know if it's going to work well, but we can try. Around me, we also do want Sundial of the Infinite in here, just as backup. We also just throw in Time Stop, and there's a few others that are Syntax, end turn. Oh, sorry. That's going to be way too much stuff, but if we end the turn, discontinuity, or ascend, and we've got Sundial, right? Prefers enchantment creature guy with sneak attack effect stapled on. Yep, we can throw that in. We have sundial. Let's go. Perforos. That is bronze-blooded. Yep. Final Fortune. All the extra turns because they're worth it. Seems to see less than 4. Oh. Extra turn. Last chance. Chance for glory. Gambit. Don't really care about Savor. We could throw in Time Sieve just for the hell of it, and Warrior's Oath. Just throwing them in there. We're throwing everything at the wall, and then we're gonna go for that. Yeah, we got discontinuity in. I believe I threw it in there. Discontinuity. Yep. Ilharg. So we're basically making a good Obeka deck, but then we're going to be augmenting it with white and trying to see what other cool things we can have in white. Mimic Fat's always great, which people just don't appreciate it as much as they should, in my opinion. Don't necessarily care there. Apprentice Necro. We'll throw it in, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to stay. Discontinuity. Hate Mirage. Create a token. Hate Mirage isn't bad. Then there's the other doubler. Use. Yeah, we know about those things. We're not going to deal with all the super staples right away because the goal is to have fun with this specifically. Yeah, we got Gorios. Yeah, we have Gorios in here right now. Said Robot, Atali, don't care. Brionia, not as much. So Dockside could go in. Dockside's just broken. So I'll leave it out for now. Molten Primordial is not an end turn trigger, so there's actually is one. Slave of Bolus. Is this slave, not salve, of Bolus, yeah. You just get to steal the creature if you can end the turn. Archon's great. Massacre. Hey, Hellbreacher's banned. Yep, it's still in a bunch of them because people haven't updated their decks. Creatures with Myriad. Xenagos versus Tuvasa game. Yes. Yes, yes. That sounds very fun. Claim the Firstborn. That's frustrating. Claim the Firstborn. I'd like to see the English version, please. Gains haste. So, the difference is, if you notice, Claim the Firstborn says gain control target creature with converted mana cost 3 less until end of turn. There are end of turn triggers and end of turn effects, times with end of turn durations. End of turn durations will still happen. So, like a giant growth will end even though you end with Obeka. But specifically with Slave of Bolus, it never says to give the creature back. It assumes that we're sacrificing it. And this is a delayed trigger. So we can just steal a creature. And it gets haste. It's a sorcery base, so it's not like a control magic or something where they can disenchant it or yeah. Yeah. That's it's difficult to remember all of those off the top of your head. Where are we at here? We're over here. Diluvian, Primordial, not so big. None of these are really end-step triggers. Escape triggers might be interesting for Cruxa, but I don't necessarily think we need that. Nope, that's just until end of turn. Triniform would be not terrible. No, don't care. Agent of Treachery. These are all just good things. That's fine. Title Bearer, not so much, so don't need it. Now we're kind of outside of the... Let's go down to make sure we hit artifacts or enchantments. Sorceries. Sorry, this is going fast. Alright. Making sure we get the appropriate... Yeah. Got Wave of Air, Blade of Selves. There we are. So we can include Isochron. In the end, I don't necessarily know if I want to keep all those 2 mana extra turn spells just because of how it can kind of just like break the game. Yes, if they remove your... It's kind of going infinite. It's a harder going infinite. We'll throw it in for now. And maybe we'll fork it into 2 decks later. Mirror match. Don't necessarily like Psychic Vortex. Do you want to see Underworld? I believe Underworld doesn't care which turn it's on. It just does it at the end step. So it's at the beginning of the end step, not beginning of your end step. I just want to double check. Now we get to go to Google. Does your Underworld breach sack on an opponent's end step? Yeah, I was pretty sure it would. Yeah, alright, there we go. The joy of using Google. Alright, don't necessarily care about that. We already had Dawn of the Dead. Look at that. We get good things. We found appropriate things. Splinter Twin. Sure, throw that in there. Other enchantments. Desolation. Don't care. I don't even get why that's there. Any good planeswalkers? You can control target creature, untap it. Just on a turn. Chandra Flamecolor's not terrible to keep those dudes around. Saheeli Rai. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature you control, except as an artifact in addition to its art. It gains highest. Oh! Yeah. Saheeli Rai does seem fun. Yeah. Yeah, double goat. The big thing with Googling magic rules is you need to know how to actually like specify it, and if you can't find it for your specific cards, you have to try to find if there's a case like 3 years old with other cards that do similar effects. All right. I think we're good here on the Obeka line. Now, yeah, we can throw in Felidar just for the heck of it. No, Guardian. All right. Got a bunch of combos in here. So initially, I'm aiming for a mid-range-ish casual, but there's potential for this to go a lot crazier. So we might fork decks at one point to make it go crazier. I think we need to look at some of the other white options that we have that could be exiling. Corpse Dance definitely does work. Remove it. Yeah, it's an exile at the end. Yep. Yep. Animatau. In what way do you think it's Animatao on steroids? If I can actually spell that. AMI. Exile permit you own, return to the battlefield under your control. Yeah, so you flicker it. Oh yeah, the abuse of ETBs and LTBs. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, this definitely does seem like an Animatao, but we're doing it in 4-color and assuming that we can try to get Obeka into play. The reason I had looked at Voyager Staff and I looked at Silas is because we can do things like Salvaging Station, which gets us reusable 1 CMC artifacts. And a lot of those are very valuable and pretty decent to use. And it also gives us stuff for Silas to do. Sudden Disappearance. Psychic Theft. And Sudden Disappearance, I believe I added that. And yes, it returns at the beginning of the next end step. So you can just exile all of target player's board, and it's just gone if you can end the turn. Psychic Theft. So Psychic Theft, I had this. It's just, I was looking at this earlier, Sick Robot. This is not this is a time frame on the ability. It's not a delayed trigger. We can't end it with Obeka. So I was actually looking up the psychic. I looked this up earlier. It's not a delayed trigger. It's all in the same ability for Psychic Theft. So, actually, wait a second. Wait a second. No, that does create. Yeah, it is a trigger. So we could end that. Yeah, yeah. We had another card that was doing that too. I thought I read that wrong. Okay. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of these here. We've got the white ones. Felidar is kind of just sitting with Saheeli. It's not necessarily needed. Exile another target permanent. Exile. Psychic Theft is pretty good index. Miss Meta Witch is repeatable flicker, and we just end the turn there. Got Sundial. Because we have Sundial, we want to have extra ways of tutoring this up. So let's just throw in some of the tutors that we want to have in here in order to make things work. So with tutors in this regard, some people remove tutors in order to make decks less consistent. Because we are doing a secret commander, we have specific tutors with the goal of using them to find the commander and make the deck work, not to combo off. And that's kind of a play style when you're playing with other people, how you want to manage that as a casual. So we've got Fabricate for Sundial. We can probably add a few more. We have Demonic Tutor. White doesn't really have any great tutors except for Search for Glory, which does actually get us Obeka for 3 mana, which isn't terrible. We could throw in Vampiric here. It's not needed, but we can. Obeka's 4. We could throw in a few transmutes if we wanted it. We could also throw in a few transmutes for Sundial. Just to say we're using Obeka, but we're also using Sundial in the same spot. Enlightened Tutor does do that. And yeah, we can do Enlightened. Now we can start looking at packages and whether wanting to do this. We've got Skybind as a package. We've got Salvaging Station as packages, and Voyager Staff gets thrown in there. If we're wanting Skybind, that is Heliod, God of the Sun, and a Sarah's Sanctum. Nice and easy. That just makes it really stupid and endless. And people have played against this with me before. It is painful in casual. ETB mages to be applicable to tutor for a density of a particular. Yes. That is something that we might want depending on. Trinket mage gets this. And we have new category, Obeka and replacements. We've got sundial in the Obeka and replacements. We've got time stop. We've got discontinuity. Technically Glorious End does that, but then we need it again, so we don't necessarily want that. I think those are our Obeka and our replacements for Obeka. There is a wizard cycling. She is in fact a wizard. Step through. And Vidalcan, Aether Mage. Let's just throw those in here. We're going to throw the tutors in with the same area, so it's a little easier to see how much we're doing. General tutors are fine, but Fabricate goes into our artifact tutors as well as Enlighten tutor. Okay. Now we kind of want to, I think I want to look at white just a little bit more. See if there's anything extra that we can throw in for white. And also let's put in cycling, because I don't know if we necessarily want cycling. Astral Slide might just be cute and not worth it. We don't have a lot of cycling already in the deck. We could also do, is it Tribute Mage for 2? Yeah, Tribute Mage gets us Sundial. Stifle and Trickbind would not necessarily be bad. Yeah, we're just throwing everything at the wall for now. Everything at the wall, and then we'll start killing stuff later. Trickbind. Yep, we've got... Actually, let's add a one-off Obeka. One-off Obeka. Because that'll actually let us get through things a little easier. And let's actually use a readable version of you. This will let us easier identify what we're wanting to do in order to like do cuts later. As far as like Astral Slide and Astral Drift, the only way I've found them to be super playable is if you're running Life from the Loam and Cycling Lands, and generally you need to do that in at least a 3-color deck as a way of getting repeated cyclers. Just because the amount of the cycle density needs to be really high, but you also need to be able to actually get them. And there's a lot of ways if you're running green to get non-basic lands to hand, or just Life from the Loam does it on its own. I had Astral Drift in a Bant Value Town deck from like 2011 with Rafik, and Rafik was just a mobile double strike enchantment. And so you could use Astral Slide to just get extra ETBs, like you're dredging Life from the Loam, you're using Exploration and fetch lands, and having those just gets you extra stuff. So Bant definitely. You could do it with you could do it without the blue, but blue makes it better. Blue is probably the best extra color if you're not going 4 or 5, I would say. Right now we pretty much have everything that's doing end of turn shenanigans. Felden, reality acid, not the vanishing. That would be flickering. This would be like very specifically for flickering. I'm not too sure about reality acid. Reflector mage. Return target creatures can't cast spells the same name. Don't necessarily need that. I want to actually do ID greater than or equal to white. And I'm just going to do next end. I believe that is the wording that we want. I just want to look at everything that is white that we can see here. I did this a little earlier, but want to make sure that we didn't miss anything, because before I was doing targeting. And actually, I think Cosmic Intervention might be good for us, just as a general utility. Yeah. I've actually just ordered some of those for my own decks. The challenge is that most of the white flicker till end step is protective, and we want to see what proactive things we can do rather than protective. As you control, beginning of the next end step, that's your stuff. Don't care about that. All creatures demonstrated target creature blocking are destroyed at the end of combat. No, we don't need a triple white spell. Don't care. Another non-token creature. I return that card to the battlefield. No. We have that as a one-off spot removal. The Hiri ultimate isn't terrible, but we're never going to get there. Just she's terrible to get there. Cause you discard cards, return them, whatever spell. Yeah, don't care about that. Laner Guide. Yeah, there we go. That doesn't quite work well with Obeka, but it works with other stuff. Okay, I will look at Disorder. And yeah, Gil... Did I already put Disorder? I'm not sure. Disorder in the court. Yes, we got that. Got it right here. Comes in play, remove it. Nope, don't care. Seance. You may exile target creature card from your... Nope, don't care. Well... We do get to reuse creatures for free. We'll throw that in there for the hell of it. Semester's End. Nope, don't care. Got Skybind, we've got Sudden Disappearance. Nope, Teferi, we don't care. We do have another one-off spot removal. And then Yorion for the general flicker. Okay. So that's all of the, at the beginning of the next end steps in white that we're looking at. So we actually have a good number of things that do mess with stuff here. Now we're looking at how we can make this a functional deck. And I think we're going to be taking off Astral Slides at the start. This is a pretty easy thing to add in. Keep that for now. Though I kind of wanted to lean more on the artifact line to get reuse from Silas and possibly a Curie. The CMC equals or less than or equal to 1, T artifact, ST creature, sacrifice. This should get us everything that we can do that Salvaging Station would be able to return. It doesn't really matter there. Roll D10. Yeah. Hmm. Thinking. This made me think of Necropotence, but that really doesn't do anything for us. These are just general spot removal. Brainstone, repeatable. We'll throw it in for the hell of it. That one's, there's fun stuff you can do with that guy. Which Chromatic Sphere and Chromatic Star are essentially the exact same thing. Reusage. Dispeller's Capsule, Executioner's Capsule, and Wishing Well. Kind of the fun ones. I'm just going to dump these in here and see where we're at. Jeweled Lotus, we don't need. We could go Lantern Shenanigans, but I don't think we need that. Don't need the baubles. Nihil is just good utility. We could use Pyrite to end the game. Don't necessarily need it. This is not till end step. And where is our good old Wishing Well? Trying not to scroll too fast to mess with people's minds. That is protection. I forgot this was an artifact land. Interesting. We'll throw it in there. Equip creature. No, it's equipment. We don't necessarily care about that. Well. Hmm. That's new. I actually hadn't read that one before. Witching Well. And we'll leave it there for now. And dump all of these in salvaging station stupids. Kind of the idea behind that is to make to round out the functional deck, but also work with our actual commanders, so we're not 100% reliant on Obeka. If Obeka gets removed, we're kind of SOL. Oh, I forgot the other thing that we need. If you've got a deck that's entirely dependent on one card, have a way to get the card back if it's gone. Eternity, let's just use the regular version. We don't need that. There we go. And I think this is a bit much. Threw a bunch in there, but trying to think how we would actually. Now I'm trying to look at. We've got a bunch of stuff that's getting us value. Got a bunch of stuff that's getting us removal, but what can we do to actually win the game? Let me start categorizing things to make this a little easier. Reanimation. This is EOT reanimation. This ends up in EOT reanimation as well. EOT removal. Sorry, end of turn removal. That's down here. Okay. End of turn removal. End of turn removal. End of turn removal. So the one issue that you can have with this is because we are exiling a ton of stuff. This might just end up being removal.deck, and it's not fun to play against, which is valid. I don't want to overload on that because it can just be not fun. It really, as a play experience, if you are entirely locked out of the board and there's no reason for you to play your cards because it's just going to be immediately nullified, it gets really unfun to play. So I try not to do that if we can. This is EOT card draw. When I do find situations like that. Felidar Guardian, we're going to need to be doing cuts, and Felidar with Saheeli is just like a random 2-card combo in the deck, and we're not necessarily wanting to do that. I think using Saheeli for Obeka is good enough that I don't want that. This is EOT Sneak Attack. Just gonna do that for now, just to get rid of 2 things. General Flicker, General Utility. I think we're gonna have a lot of end of turn removal. A lot. This is end of turn reanimation. Turn card draw. What is the other? What's the heroic spell that does this? What is it? Oh, copy, paste. Flame Shadow, Hate Mirage, Heat Shimmer. Okay, so Heat Shimmer doesn't necessarily work because it actually gets that. It happens every end step. Oh, free. Whenever not, if you do create a token that's copy, to this battlefield, return it. Yep. Nope. Kindred charge. That might be funny. Twin Flame. That's what it was. Strive, not Heroic. It was the Heroic Enabler. This and Hate Mirage. We're just gonna call them sneak attacks to remove. Just it's the same general area. We don't want Claim the Firstborn because that was just in there to talk about. Category. EOT extra turns. Final Fortune. Gloria Sandra. Gloria Sand might not be there, but let's do. Yeah, Scepters. Scepter, well, these Scepters, like Yorion and Scepter, they're kind of just there. Um, we'll, we'll get there. Removal. This goes into Obeka because we need that. Removal. Animation. Guess what, guys? We've got a lot of removal. I think we've got too much. General Utility and Reanimation. Animation. All these Sneak Attack or Splinter Twin. Guess what? Sneak Attack goes in the Sneak Attack pile. Guess what? It's removal. It's removal. And reanimation. We're calling it sneak attack. You're basically sneak attack slash splinter twin. Animation. Yeah, we don't. We need to do cuts. Animation. Scepter can chill. This goes over here, and Time Seed kind of goes in there anyways. All right, we've got this. I don't know what to classify that as. I am gonna dump it in remove because it's just there. Glorious End, I don't know if I like it. It does end the current player's turn, but it does require us to have an Obeka online to actually work. I think it's more just general utility than it is actually anything else. Yeah, we got a bit much removal, but I think I like keeping a bunch of the artifact, or a bunch of the permanent based ones in here in order to be able to reuse them with some of our reanimation. Ideas Unbound and Avarice Dragon. I think I kind of want to cut these because we don't necessarily need it, and we can get better options just to do recursive card draw. We don't need it. All right, I'm gonna save this now. Let's. I'm gonna duplicate this really quick. So actually I just do it in here. Copy deck. We'll just call this the fork, and we will go back over here and open this guy up. All right. Got these all in their own categories. Let's just go back over here. Stats. What's our CMC? Our CMC's not actually that terrible, but we could start dropping some stuff. And I think let's drop things that are on the high end that don't give us a ton. And I think Chandra is at the start. Start by CMC. I think Yorion is going to get us a ton of value with creatures we have in play, but we do need to come back and go to custom, Yorion, new category. How many firms can we blink? I just want to make sure that we check that later to see if it's worthwhile to actually keep or not. We're at 80 cards. We do need to get down to 64. If we get down to like 50, 55, that gives us space to actually put in cards that make the deck that'll make the deck work a little bit better. Beyond that, I think 50 at the low end, 65 at the high end. Our thefts, creature-based thefts. We've got don't like that Gale Powder has to actually attack, so we'll drop that. This is just ETB and it requires that we have snow permanence. We're gonna have to check that later, see if we do. It is on the higher end compared to like Glimmer Stag. I think we might just cut it because we have enough options at that point. Give the 2-drop. Sudden Disappearance just hits an old board. Perforos can sneak in pretty much. Oh, is Perforos only a red creature? If that's the case, then we might just get rid of him right away. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's just get rid of him, because we don't have many red creatures. Good call. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have much there. Straight killing somebody's entire board is cool. Removing all creatures, so if we don't have many board wipes, I do like Planar Guide here. The only downside is it's a one-off effect, and they do come back, which lets them reuse ETBs, but that also lets us reuse ETBs. And let me just double check Planar Guide's Oracle. We do it in an end step before our turn. Yeah, it's at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so if we did this at the end step before our turn, we could get like Obeka back in play on our turn, and we could end the turn in response to this ability. So, no, what am I doing? What am I thinking? No. This would require a non-Obeka to actually return. And this is a single trigger. Abilities activate during the end step, then the creatures don't return. Yep. Yeah, so it's just one. I don't know if this is necessarily worth it. Well, this is going to be something we have to check later. So, Turn to Mist, Long Road Home are basically extra versions of Swords to Plowshares and like Path to Exile and the like. I think we just run those. I think we get rid of these for now, just because that's enough. Planner Guide, I'm just going to dump him in the iffy category because not sure if it ever actually will be worth it. And actually, I'm just going to move Yorion into there as well. All right. And I'm going to move Glory Ascendant there. Saheeli is actually Sneak Attack. There we go. So what I'm kind of using iffy is general utility or things that I don't know whether we'll actually use. Tutors, we will dump these into our Obeka and Obeka replacements. So everything except for Treasure Vault, which goes over there, is the only reason it's there. All right, we've classified everything as to what we have, where we want it, and what we're looking at it for. Let's look through our reanimation and see what the good or the bad options are. So Arami doesn't, it just says we have to remove cards from our graveyard. We have to have things there. That's okay. We're not doing a ton to actually abuse besides using some of the creatures. 15 creatures. I don't think Arami is going to be worth it with only 15 creatures in the deck. So I think we will cut Arami. Go back to custom. Make slaughter 2 target creature cards to the graveyard. Opponent chooses one of them. Return the card to your hand. The other goes to the battlefield, gains haste. So I don't think we want that. We don't need to give them second 7. Welcome. And Seance is great. Hey Josh, how's it going? Post-mortem lunge. I don't like the fact that it has an X in there. I think we'll just drop that for now. Gorios. What's our legendary creature count? That might not, it just might not be worthwhile. Go by types. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Gorios. Yes, Josh, this is 4-color Obeka with white added in because Flicker Wisp is pretty strong. Exile target perm, return it at end step. Let's just end the turn. Yeah. So we're in process of dropping things, and Gorios, you are not gonna have space. We're not gonna have space for you. And Ilharg, yeah. Razebore, let me get the actual readable version of this. And yeah, there we go. May put a creature from your hand on the battlefield tapped and attacking. Okay. So this is where we have a good number of creatures, and I do actually like Ilharg because we can dump in like a Flicker Wisp It's tapped and attacking. It exiles something till end step. We stack our triggers to return Flicker Wisp to hand, and then end the turn with the Flicker Wisp trigger still on the stack. I do like Ilharg here a lot. Identity Theft is kind of iffy because it does need to attack, and it is an attack trigger. Go back to custom. We are at, how many have we nuked? We're down to 71. Okay. You end up in, where is our Obeka and Obeka replacements? And you are just general iffy good stuff. I think we might look at cutting some of these extra turns. We could, actually, okay. If we keep in Final Fortune, let's do some sorting here. Sort by type and by CMC. If we keep in Final Fortune right now, we have Stifle, Enlightened Tutor. Okay, I actually think that we do keep Isochron Scepter because we can effectively use Scepter plus a Stifle or Trick Bind as another Obeka. Which means we can keep Final Fortune in there. It is a one-off, but that's fine. If we happen to just randomly draw it, we're not tutoring for it. Cool. We'll drop the other ones, though. Alchemist Gambit, we can keep Alchemist Gambit. That I'm okay with that one. But the other two CMC ones we don't really need. Hate Mirage is a target creature you don't control. So you just get 2 extra creatures. I like that. Now, step through. This is, that gives us Obeka, so don't need that. Let's go back to custom types and see where we are. I think we can probably drop Apprentice Necro. Don't think we need that. Corpse Dance will work just fine, especially like if we use Corpse Dance to get back Obeka, which also means that we could theoretically use Entomb. Is Entomb worthwhile here? We had more removal, or if we had more reanimate, Entomb could work. So, yeah, Dualcaster Mage is another option. I'm not too sure I necessarily want to go that route. So the reason being is, if you notice I cut, we still have Saheeli. Saheeli is good for what we're trying to do, but I cut Felidar Guardian, because it's just a 2-card I win the game. And Dualcaster plus Twin Flame is a 2-card I win the game. Yes, you can do those. But just including Dualcaster with no other purpose kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Twin Flame is just good, but actually I think Twin Flame might actually be even getting cut because we don't have that many creatures. Shallow Grave is a good option, actually. I like Corpse Dance because of the buyback a little bit more, but Shallow Grave does work as a one-off. We'll come back to that for sure. We might be able to drop some of these sneak attacks just because we don't have that many creatures to actually do it with. 13 creatures. If we cut some of the sneak attacks, that gives us room for actual artifacts so that we can cast these. Keeping Ilharg on his own is probably the best one in the group because it lets us pull them back. What does Kiki Jiki do here for our ETBs? We have Splinter Twin. I think I like Kiki Jiki better than Splinter Twin. That gives us more functional additional things. It gives us more options than just throwing it on one creature. Twin Flame, just double checking Twin Flame. So Twin Flame is just an extra one of our creatures. One off. I think we don't need that. I think we can drop that. Now, before we did have that, we did have a few of those 2 CMC instant exile till end step things. We might put one of those back in because we're keeping Isochron Scepter, and that can be used to like save our things. Might be a reason to put that back in. What were those? I do definitely like keeping a second copy of a deck as I'm doing cuts, so I can come back Turn to Mist and Long Road Home. End step, return to battlefield under its owner's control with +1/+1 counter. I think we just do Turn to Mist because it's easier to cast and doesn't benefit our opponents if we screw it up. Okay. Creatures, 14 creatures. I don't necessarily know if Sneak Attack is worth it. I think we can drop Sneak Attack because Ilharg does what we want. The benefit of Sneak Attack is that it would let us put Obeka into play without having to worry about her getting countered or otherwise. And it would let us abuse a lot of these ETB flickers, but it would be one-off abuse and then they would go away. I think we can drop this. Parallax Wave and Parallax Tide. I don't think I like Parallax Tide here because it's just unfun to play against. The only reason that it would be used would be to like I would personally use this as a as like ramp, but I don't necessarily like that. Yeah, I'm gonna drop this guy. Not the flavor of gameplay and experience we are aiming for. Dawn of the Dead might not be worth it at this point. Dawn of the Dead and Seance might not be worth. So actually, I like Dawn of the Dead more than Seance. It costs more, but it doesn't exile the creature, so we can continue using it. We might want to put a sack outlet in here. Where are we at? 65. Okay. Now let's go back to packages. I think salvaging station might be big here. Don't need you. That might be worthwhile. Might not be the place for it. I like to throw this in any artifact deck, and Silas is good here. If we don't have Silas as a partner, then our 4-color commanders are, it's just Brea, right? Equals Wooper, legendary. Yeah, it's just Brea. And if we do just Brea, she makes dudes, but she doesn't do anything for our deck. There's nothing that Brea on her own can do. So Silas is our best bet as far as actually getting value out of a 4-color commander here. Akiri works because he can become big with a bunch of artifacts. What does Bruce do? Bruce might be better here, as Bruce might just be better. For double strike, and lifelink keeps us alive, and yeah, Josh, two color legendary Anaya, Adriana, and Wolfgar. I have a few of those. 3C. Got that on the list of requests. Combat is fun. So Saheeli is essentially Kiki Jiki, but for artifacts as well. It's fewer uses, but it's cheaper. I'm good with that. Blade of Selves is just stupid with any of our flicker effects. I'm cool with that. Ilharg, Hate Mirage, I like that as just general utility. We can throw that into things. EOT removal, dump that over there. We might need to cut down on some of this. We do get to throw Isochron Scepter into there now, because it actually has a chance of being there. End of turn extra turns, chance for glory, I forgot about this. Creatures you control gain indestructible. I like that, because it saves Obeka if she's in play. I do like that. Let's cut Alchemist Gambit. We'll keep Final Fortune. Alright, now how many are we at? We're at 62. Save for now, and let's go back to normal types and see where we're at. 16 instants, not bad. So, quarter of our non-lands instants. Okay. Quarter of our non-lands are creatures. Not too many sorceries. Barely any enchantments. Oh, 62 with 2 lands already in here. So if we could cut another 5 cards, I think that would be good. What are people's thoughts on actual... are people liking Salvaging Station here, or is it just too much? The benefits that it gets us is it gets us reusable Voyager staffs. Let's sort by name, not by CMC. It gives us reusable Voyager staff, which is... it is end of turn removal, but it also saves our creatures. It gets us mana fixing and card draw. It gets us enchantment and artifact removal. It gets us terrors, endless terrors. It gets us lands. It gets us a Gilded Lotus. Graveyard Hate. I think I like the general utility here. And Trinket Mage gets us... I mean, like, you can Trinket Mage for Voyager Staff. Blank Trinket Mage, get another thing, and you can start the loop. So... Skybind is just Heliod and Sarah's Sanctum. I think I'm okay cutting these. It is better with more, I do agree. But yeah, I think cutting them is probably better for what we're doing. I do agree there. Save. I'm gonna sort by custom again and just see what our balance is for Obeka. One off Obekas, we've got 6. I think that's a good amount. This is one off Obeka replacements, but some of these also get to do things on our opponent's turn. Was there another new disallow? Was there like a cleave spell or something that did that? There's the creature, the overcharged amalgam. That was the new one. What's that guy? don't think we need that. And Nimble Obstructionist is meh. Okay. Well, what does Overcharged Amalgam get us? Overcharged Amalgam lets Corpse Dance actually be an Obeka. It lets Felden of the Third Path be an Obeka. It lets Mimic Vat be an Obeka. I think I actually like that a lot. Yeah, I do like that a lot. But let's get again the legible version of the card at least. Yeah, Overcharged Amalgam does do quite a lot there. I like that. And it does give us a counter spell. And it's using different cards. And it's also not necessarily free. Yeah, I do like that. What's our artifact? 15. I think we might actually want the life total more than the than a Kiri. I think we want this over here, and I think we want to drop a Kiri. 59. I don't think we need Treasure Vault. We can drop that for now. We can get that into lands otherwise. Can we drop 3 more cards? If we're dropping 3 more cards, what are iffies? Yorion. Now we can look at these things over here. Cosmic Intervention, I think I like. We're keeping that guy. What do we get out of Yorion as far as flicker targets? We've got any mana rocks we had, right? Non-land permanents, okay. So we can hit this, we can hit Parallax Wave. These guys are worthwhile. See, these are worthwhile. I don't think Yorion's worth it. I think we can cut Yorion safely. Then I think we can cut Planar Guide. I don't see a good use for it outside of just like a general board clear, and I think I would like a general board clear better. Yeah. I'm still not a fan of Glorious End. We'll drop that. We're at 55. Okay. I think that is a good way to start as far as where we have all of these guys. I think I like this as our base, and we need to add in a few things to make it function as far as staples go. That is Soul Ring. That is our Arcane Signet. We've got some talismans we can do. I'm just gonna dump a bunch of these in here right now. If I can type damage. Creativity, conviction, dominus, hierarchy, indulgence. Oh, there we go. We don't need signets. We could do signets, but I don't think we need them. Ristic, because Ristic Study's good. Probably could throw in a copy artifact. We don't need a Mystic Remora. We could look at land tax. We could... Just thinking of what mana ramp we want to look at here. We could throw in Dockside, it's just it's kind of easy mode. I'm going to put it in here just to actually take a look real quick. What is our Dockside abuse case? Kiki Jiki. Ilharg. Flicker Wisp being our own things, friend. Step, fell down. Yeah, no. This is way too easy to abuse. We're not doing that. Counter spells, we really only have Disallow and the Overcharged Amalgam. We can add in a Cane Denial. Now, we'll talk about that in a moment just because it's easier to cast, and as far as the play experience go, it's funner to play against. If you get one of your cards Arcane Denial, you still get something out of it. It's more fun to play with, I would say. Then we could Dovin's. I think Dovin's Veto is worth it. Let's see. Yeah, delay does feel okay. I just want to take a look. Split second stuff. Any split second stuff worth it? This is sorry. I was just telling it to turn. Yep, it's not a return it. Okay. Angel's Grace isn't worth it. Okay. Just to make sure I am not missing any super obvious staples, let's just look up Brea, because that's the color combo we've got. You could also look up Bruce, Tarl, and Silas, just to see if there's any big staples that we're missing. Moon Silver Key. I think that guy is actually worthwhile. Lands, we've got Fabricate, Smothering Tithe. This is why I looked this up, because... Ah, swords, yep. We could throw in Deflecting Swat. And we could throw in Fierce Guardianship, just to try. Felwar Stone. D-Spark does sound good, and I think I like D-Spark more just because we can throw that on the Isochron Scepter. Anguish doesn't need to be there. Fish Stick isn't terrible. Displacer. Is Displacer worth it to flicker our own things? Which one's Vanishing Verse? Yeah, we can throw that in. There's also a instant that doesn't see any be white. Oh, destroy. Fracture or final payment. I'll throw that in there for now. Yep, don't need Orzhov Charm. Double checking. Anything else worthwhile over here? We can move past the creatures. Let's get to instance. Yes. Swan Song. Path we can skip for now. So I'm adding all of these in, and I'm going to go back and just double check. Windfall isn't a bad idea. As a way to get back in the game. We're out. Uh, and a supreme. Throwing in the giant piles of stuff. Not worth, not worth, not worth. Merciless is the other one. Okay. That is a lot there. Utility lands, Venter's Fair Academy Ruins. Okay, yeah, I can remember all of those. Easy enough. Mana Rocks, making sure. Chromatic Lantern's not a bad one. Okay. I think we're good on... Yeah, don't necessarily care for any of that. Enchantments just to make sure. It's just a flicker. Okay. What does that put us at? 85. Now we get to do more cuts. I think we can safely cut the talismans. We need to get down to 65. So we added a ton of stuff in. I don't think we need time sieve. We've got enough infinite turns that we can do that are more in line with the deck plan. Soul Ring, Moon Silver Key. Get a basic land or Soul Ring. Oh no, it's any artifact card with a mana ability. Okay. So that actually like massively fixes our mana, as we could go get like Chromatic Lantern. I think we can cut Chromatic Sphere. So Tournament exile target creature. Did we have anything that was just a creature here? Verse. I put it back in, and I'm going to take it back out. Turn to Mist, I'm sorry. I think we just like our actual removal better, and putting a Swords to Plowshares on a Scepters, fine. Another 11 cards. Okay. Windfall, having a one-off, draw a ton, great. Cool with that. Tragic Arrogance. As far as 5-mana board wipes, this is, in my opinion, one of the best. If you have it in your hand, you can play around it, and you can plan for it over a few turns, and then just blow people out beyond all belief. You can choose to have them keep an artifact creature token, and they lose all their mana rocks and all their good creatures. 100% worth. Deluge. Let's cut Deluge for Verdict, because when we have it, we really want it. Winds of Abandon could go in. I think we're kind of in the spot that we need to cut a few, and we're either... It's either like Winds of Abandon or Merciless Eviction. And I think I like Eviction better. And I think... Yeah, I gotcha. I think we're gonna drop Austere Command here, and we can keep Merciless for now. Smothering Tithe, Rhystic. Land tax we can drop, just to be safe. I think we can drop some of these. I think we've got a lot of instants in here, and I think some of them don't need to. Vanishing Verse might be the first one we cut, because Despark gets rid of a lot of the really scary things and most like really strong commanders you're scared of, more than Vanishing Verse does. If only they would let us play with the French version and it would actually work. If you're unfamiliar, the French version of Fracture actually says creatures as well. Um, to French. Creature. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The French version drops enchantment and puts creature. I don't know if there's many enchantments that are really going to screw us over for Fracture to be worth it. I think we can drop Fracture. I think with our end the turn spells, we can also consider them. Yeah, definitely turns into Orzhova Braid. With our end the turn spells, we can kind of also consider those counter spells. So we have a few more. We could drop. We could drop Dovin's Veto or Fierce Guardianship. Um, I like dropping Fierce Guardianship more because it's not going to be free as much. Our goal is to get Obeka in play, or one of our Obeka replacements. Bruce or Silas cannot be in play, and we're perfectly fine. And I think I like Deflecting Swap more because you can move around targets of like fights or whatever. Anything that's from a creature as well. I really like Deflecting Swap more there. So I think we'll cut Fierce. Need to do another 5 cuts. I think we can just move away from Smothering Tithe as a staple. I think we want Rhystic Study for card draw. General high quality creatures that we could, high quality staples to remove. Just doing another breeze through. Step through gets us any of our creature tutor, or any of our artifact creature tutors. It gets us Obeka. It gets us Misman. Wow. Yeah. It gets us a lot of things, so I'm fine with that. Snow permanents, if we include snow basics or snow duels, this also ends up being a land fetch. We don't have a single saga in the deck, but this does get us a lot of different legendaries. That gets us Whip of Erebos. Do we have any other legendary artifacts? Um, don't have any legendary sorceries. We don't have legendary enchantments. It does get us Saheeli. Gets us Obeka, Kiki-Jiki, Ilharg, and Felden. Yeah, I like Search for Glory. It gets us a really wide range of things. I don't know if we necessarily need Psychic Theft. This is one that I'm kind of on the border of whether to cut it or not. Four cards. Any ideas, chat? We're either dropping staples or we're dropping some of the redundancy that we have, or like tutors. Mm. We might be able to drop Supreme Verdict or Merciless Eviction because of sudden disappearance. Think we could drop Merciless Eviction. Just run on Tragic Arrogance and Supreme Verdict for like our artifact wipes. Use Sudden Disappearance for one player in specific. The last thing that we don't have that we might want to consider is a creature-based instant or sorcery return to hand, like an anarchist. Let's drop Merciless Eviction. I think we can drop Dovin's Veto. What is our average CMC is below 3. That's good. That's good. Is there anything off the top end, any 4, 5s, or 6s that we could drop? Might be time to drop Dawn of the Dead, because that's 3 red, or 3 black. That's kind of hard to cast. The other one is Kiki Jiki. What's our mana? We are way blue. We're more red than black. Yeah, I think so. The reason I'm kind of on Dawn of the Dead easier is because of Urborg, but I think I like Kiki Jiki more than Dawn of the Dead, and we have other reanimation. Discontinuity most of the time is going to be a 4-drop. That would leave Parallax Wave as a 5 creature exile in one go. Identity Theft, it has to attack. I think Identity Theft is the only thing that actually has to attack to get our ability. I think we'll drop that. 65. Alright, we're there. We throw in a land base and we're done. Okay. With this version by types. Yeah. Is duel. So I'm just going to be throwing in all of the duels and shocks and fetches because it's easy and can do these fairly well, and it gets you a perfect mana base. You don't need to do this. This is going to massively up the cost of the deck. I know. And it also makes doing these fairly easy. We want Urborg. Don't necessarily want coffers because we can't really abuse coffers. We don't have the black mana requirements to actually abuse coffers. So Urborg is just free black mana fixing and lets our fetch lands tap for mana when we don't need them. Ooh. And next end step. Bam. Mystifying Maze, for sure. No, don't need Rainbow Veil. Okay. Are there any lands that we want for card draw? Bonder's Enclave isn't necessarily needed. High Market might not be bad. Just to have a sack outlet for some of these creatures, based off of like Corpse Dance and the other exiles. Do we have anything else that's exiling at the end step? We actually don't have much. Geeky Jeeky. We'll throw it in there. It doesn't need to be. We do need to add in snow-covered lands. Okay. Yeah. Baseless Haven's not needed. So if we include all of these, we do have a lot more tapped lands that enter tapped, but we also make Search for Glory better. And we also give us a lot of options as far as fetch lands. It gives us more fetch land options. That puts us right at 35 lands. That probably gives us a super balanced mana base, so we can drop stuff and start adding in it a little differently. Silas. I'm just going to double check if there's any utility lands that they are putting in this that we aren't. And then I think we'll be done for this version, and we can do the next one another time. I need to take a break after this. I might take a short break and I can be back. Academy Ruins, that's a good one. Academy Ruins, Ancient Tomb. Venter's Fair. Venter's Fair, Ancient Tomb. We spell correctly. This is my primary usage for EDH Rec, is to make sure that I'm not forgetting really obvious things. Pachuca Bog. Don't think we need it because we have, oh, Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, duh. We don't need Bog because we have Nihil Spellbomb. Fetches, Duel, City Brass, Mana Confluence. Oh, the Triomes. I think I like the Triomes more than the Snow Duels. Yeah. Oop, 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 oop. Wait, oh. Thank you, deck. Thank you, whatever. My Googling's not working right. Triomes. And we've got the untapped if you don't have more opponents. So, I think we might be cutting a few fetch lands. Yes. So there's the two or more other land ones, the new ones, and then there's the opponents. I think we're gonna do the opponents ones. See, yes. Let me put in the typed ones to check for other basics. Sorry. Not that one. Spectator seating, Sunken Hollow, Training Center, Vault of Champions. All right, we've got a lot of lands in here. Snow Duel can go. Let's go from the bottom up. We're gonna drop the green fetch lands. We'll drop the Snow Duels there. We will have Snow Basics. Yeah, I've got the Battle Bond. I just added the Battle Bonds in. And then the Commander Legends follow-up. Sunken Hollow, we'll keep you to the side for now. Dropping the Snow Duel. Snow duel. We do all. That's the. Oh, so this is basic lands. We don't want those ones. What am I doing? Sunken Hollow. Don't want that. Because we don't have a ton of basics in here right now. Sea of Clouds is. That's Battle Bond. Yep, that's Battle Bond. Keep the Triomes. Fairy Streams a no. Try. Doop. 38, 3 more cuts. We can cut black, black, red. Luxury Suite. It's probably the first cut. So I'm keeping the snow basics. Snow duels are a maybe. Might. So we are mostly blue-white. I could keep the blue-white snow duel as the only one. Drop that Triome. I think we can drop a Vault of Champions and we can drop Spectator Seating. Put in the white-blue snow duel and another white-blue land. I think that might be where we stop. We drop Godless Shrine. We could drop Blood Crypt, actually. I think we drop Blood Crypt. Yeah. And then we can add... What is the blue-white version from Midnight Hunt or where are we at here? The 2 or more other lands. Which one is that one? Find it. There we are. And Glacial Floodplain. It actually gets us pretty good. We could use more blue, but we have a lot of blue fetches. We have more than it actually looks like. I think that's a good mana base to start with. That is a good first way out the door. Let's just do a quick wrap up with everything that we've got in here. So we've got a lot of tutors specifically to get Obeka or Obeka-like cards. We have a lot of one-off counter-target abilities, which are usually what we're going to be trying to use Obeka for anyways. We're trying to end the turn to clear the stack to get abilities off of Obeka, and these also do that. They're one-offs though. Salvaging Station, we've got a lot of really good 1 or 0 drop artifacts that let us continue to do things, and Voyager Staff is a really good option there for, again, abusing Obeka. And because it not only hits our stuff, it hits our opponent's stuff, we can save our stuff, exile our opponent's stuff. We do have a few extra turns for Obeka. These can be done one-off, or Final Fortune can get tossed on a... Gaedron Dihada for the... Is that the Modern Horizon one? Yeah, protection from permanents with corruption counters. You don't lose 2 life, you gain 2 corruption counter upon one other target creature planeswalker, gain control. Uh, so there's no. There's nothing really that we're abusing with Gaedrone is the only thing. She's just a Grixis Walker. Um, Not terrible, but she's just a Grixis Walker. There's no until end of turn things that are on here. Oh no, it's till end of turn here. But this is a timestamp. This isn't a triggered ability, so we don't get to actually use that. Excellent. Um, we have some generic instants and sorceries for removal, card draw, redundancy. These are like mostly. This is my general utility pile. Is the what I had called iffy, but this is just general utility. There's two L's in utility, but I may be off. Whatever, we're good. Jumping that there. Where did my iffy pile go? Where did that stuff end up? Oh well, where did the other stuff? There's just sorceries and instants. Ah, here we are. It ended up top. This is not anything happening with our commander at all. It is just removal. This is reanimation that lets us abuse Obeka. This is Splinter Twin and Sneak Attack type effects that again let us abuse Obeka. Uh, General utility instance to keep the deck actually functioning. And then a bunch of things that are end of turn removal abuse for Obeka. So Disorder in the Court, exile up to X creatures, return them. With that on the stack, we just end it. And we also get to investigate that many times. So we not only get to remove a bunch of stuff, we get a bunch of artifacts that we can sack for cards and get to just get things out of the way. Yeah, I am. I'm actually excited to try this deck out, see how it goes. I like this as a first run through. Chat, thank you for joining me. Hi, it's almost 1 o'clock. Been at this for 2 hours. I think I'm gonna stop here for now.